Hello everyone, welcome back to another anime review. We are reviewing anime called Lord of Life in Another World. Now this anime is kind of interesting and kind of unique. First off, our main protagonist. First off, the whole entire class gets isekai, which is usually a rarity in isekai animes because you don't see that happen very often, to be honest with you. Usually it's just one or two or three characters that get isekai. However, this anime, the whole entire class gets isekai. Our main protagonist, however, tries to escape the isekai by clawing into a vent, but he gets sucked in anyway. Since he was the last person to get isekai because he tried to run away, he gets all the skill. He gets to pick a skill that is left on the board, because the god decides to have each 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 student pick one skill per person, pretty much. But instead, because the main character bitches and complains so much so that he just gives them the rest of the skills that are pretty much useless to his by his standards. However, he decides to make it useful by combining the two skills and making new skills and new magic out as it goes. So he's pretty much OP, but he doesn't really notice it because he's got all these useless skills. That's pretty much about it. Now, our main villain of the first half of the anime is a red haired guy who's a nerd, and he has a skill called copycat. What's copycat, you say? Well, he can copy any what's it called? He can copy any freaking skill of the rest of the people. He can just copy them. It's not like the school prez, where we will get to in a minute. She has the skill of devour. Devour means that she can take the skills from her opponents by killing them, or that's what pretty much it is. So the red hair guy. He's a genius. He's a nerd, and he's sick and tired of everyone picking on him in school. So he wants to kill everyone in this new world of him. So to say he dies because the main character kills him because he knows what the fuck he's doing. So that's the main gist of that. Now, the main reason why there wasn't that much skills involved, so that's the main character doesn't get useful skills in the very beginning, is because of him, because he thought that they were useless. However, he gets killed by him. So that's the main gist of that. That's the first 6 episodes. The seventh episode concludes that scenario, and then the last 8 through 12 episodes, I believe, the 7 through 12 episodes is where you go to a dungeon. So episode 7 through episode 12 is where they make the main character go through a dungeon, pretty much. And he decides to, instead of going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like a traditional dungeon, he gets to start at floor 101 and move his way up, because of the fact that if the school prez follows him, he accidentally trips on a trap and falls down to the very bottom of the floor, which is 101. And then he decides to tries to befriend the dungeon emperor, which I think was pretty fucking dope. And so that's the main part of the second half of the anime. Now, the main character has, how do I say, he labels every character in this anime what they are. He calls the jocks, which is mostly athletes, athletic people. However, when it comes to the athletes, they communicate with him better than any other character in the very beginning, and they actually try to help him out as well as he tries to help them out as well. So the jocks are mostly there because of reasons, and they're trying to work themselves out. So it's kind of like that. As for the nerds are there sporadically, and then they go away in the mid part of the season. They come back. They're pretty much your typical, they're going away, and then they come back, and then there's nowhere to be seen. So yeah. So that's the main gist of them. Then you get the school prez. The gals pretty much get their own specific episode. They want him to ask for help. He asks. He says, "Yeah, I'll help you out," and then he gets a fucking skill that makes them turn into a domestic dog or something. The three gals domestic dog. I don't know. It's pretty fucking funny because they act like dogs because of the main character's skill, and I thought that was fucking funny. The gals are the first people that he helps, and the gals are pretty much non-existent throughout the rest of the series after that episode, which is kind of sad, really. You got the jocks, you get the gals, you get the nerds, then you've got the school prez, which is pretty much your typical prez thing. Then you got the delinquents. Now, the delinquents have these skills of trying to make a harem with the female students in the group. However, the red haired guy decides to kill them because he's sick and tired of them. They die immediately, and all the students in the class that don't really have like they're not like main character status or part of the group status, they end up dying off camera, which I kind of felt sad for. The second half is pretty much the same thing. However, the second half is kind of interesting because the main character saves a person that looks like a skeleton because the skeleton is cursed, which is the fucking dungeon emperor. She's a skeleton. She is a woman, by the way. Um, but the thing is the fact that even though she's a skeleton, he tries to save her by uncursing her, and he does, and turns her into a human again. So that's the main gist of that. So that's what I got for you. If you guys want to watch it, that's fine. However, I'll be cautious of the time of this anime review. Because right now, the anime that I watched the first 5 episodes, well, the first 6 episodes in English dub. The 7 through 12, I watched sub because the English wasn't finished yet, so I decided to watch it in sub just to get it over with because of reasons. Now, if you want to wait a couple months or a couple weeks so that the dub can catch up to the anime. But I'm giving this anime a 6 out of 10. I thought it was really good on how it's pacing on the first section. Second section, it's kind of like, how do I explain it? First off, the first section of the anime is the student gets pissed off because he gets bullied, so he tries to kill every student so that way he can copy every person move sets. Which, by the way, it does have a drawback because he can only use it 3 times, I believe, or something like that. I did. They explained it to me confusingly, so yeah. But because of that reason, that's the main reason why. And then the second half is pretty much the kids go through the dungeon and stuff like that. However, he is a loner in another world. What they mean by that is the fact that our main character always does stuff by himself, and the class does tries to help him out, but they do it in a group instead without him, except for a couple of fights and so to speak. But he does try to do everything by himself. The classroom does everything for themselves. So yeah. So I'm giving this anime a 6 out of 10. I thought it was okay. I think it's done I'm done with isekai animes for the time being. So the next anime review is Prison School, and I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever. So I hope you guys have a nice positive day, and always stay positive.